It's Thursday, September 18th, 2025. It's the 261st day of the year, and we're going to start off by talking about Tropical Storm Gabrielle down here in the Atlantic Ocean. It's currently got 52-mile-an-hour winds, 1,004 millibars minimum pressure. This was earlier this morning. You can see the swirl here quite clearly, but man, this looks like a very weak system. I'm actually surprised it's a tropical storm. This looks less impressive than most tropical depressions. The National Hurricane Center is saying that this thing's got 52-mile-an-hour winds. We do expect some convection to start bursting around the center here at some point, and it is going to strengthen potentially up to a Category 1 hurricane by September 22nd up here closer to Bermuda with maybe up to 75-mile-per-hour winds. But right now, it's just not looking that impressive on the WEATHERWISE app here. We've got the main development region satellite visible. You can see that there is actually quite a bit of wind shear that the storm is dealing with, so a lot of the convection is actually displaced away from that circulation. So we'll see how well this storm overcomes the adversity here. But as soon as it does, there's some decent conditions out west for this to turn into a hurricane. So we'll see if that happens. Here's a look at my coastal awareness model over on RyanHallYall.com. You can see that the projected path here takes this well out to sea, even more remote than Hurricane Aaron was. But still, Bermuda, we're saying be aware of the forecast. This thing's going to come close enough to where we want to pay attention to this in Bermuda, especially around 4 to 5 days from now. This will be within close proximity, so we'll keep an eye on it over there. But for the most part, this looks like a fish storm. Now, if we actually go south and east from Gabrielle on the WeatherWise app here, we can see another area of interest that we're watching with a wave that's just come off of Africa. This has got a 20% chance of forming into something over the next 7 days. That's pretty much all we know right now. We've got a lot of these waves that are coming off of Africa, which is very common for peak hurricane season, which is what we're in right now. I don't know what's going to happen with this, but most of the models are showing some confidence that there's going to be some development by the time it gets over here close to where Gabrielle is now. Speaking of models, let's take a look at those. This is Gabrielle here by September 18th at 8 p.m. You can see that it's going to try to wrap some of that moisture around the center of circulation later tonight, and we'll probably see some more significant development as we get into Saturday and Sunday. The GFS currently has this going just east of Bermuda, probably being at its strongest right there as it's a couple hundred miles east of Bermuda, and then once again recurving off to the north and east, not really impacting too much of anybody. That secondary wave behind Gabrielle is really not showing too much development on the latest GFS. This is just one model, so we can't really put all of our eggs in one basket here, but you can see that there is some semblance left of it over here by the time we get to September 28th. And honestly, all eyes are going to be on this area in late September because there are a couple different models showing some activity over here, either in the form of one of these African waves that make it past Lesser Antilles, or in the form of a Central American gyre that actually turns into tropical system as it rises up through the Caribbean into the Gulf. But as of right now, there's nothing concrete, and there's nothing that I want to spend too much time talking about because at this point, it's just kind of pointless. As far as tropics go, though, there are some interesting things happening in the Pacific, especially the Eastern Pacific. We've got another big storm that's going to be coming together here over the next several days south of the Baja Peninsula area, and then there's going to be another one after that. And we actually just had Tropical Storm Mario, and if I zoom in here on Southern California, you can see on our precipitable water model here, there's actually a really high level of moisture that's going to be kind of funneling into Southern California over the next several days, and that's what we're going to talk about next. In fact, we've got a rare slight risk of excessive rainfall for Southern California from Fresno all the way down to San Diego up towards Las Vegas. We do expect to see some flash flooding today, maybe even into tonight and tomorrow with the remnants of Mario that's coming up into the Southern California area. And we're about to dive so much deeper into that, but first, let's shout out today's awesome sponsor. ZocDoc, get a doctor who gets you. Just like a lot of y'all, I've been laying in bed way too late looking up some weird symptom and convincing myself it's the worst possible thing. And the truth is, between marathon live streams, forecast videos, tracking hurricanes, I don't have a lot of spare time to go get myself checked out. That's why ZocDoc has been such a big help. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare in-network doctors so you can find the right one for you without the guesswork or phone calls. With ZocDoc, you can read verified patient reviews and see detailed doctor profiles before you ever step in the office. And the best part is you can see their appointment openings right there in the app and book online. Appointments usually happen pretty fast too, usually within 24 to 72 hours, and sometimes even the same daggone day. mental health, dental care, eye care, skin care, you name it. So stop putting it off like I used to and use ZocDoc. Be kind to yourself and go to ZocDoc.com/Ryan Hall, y'all, to find and instantly book top-rated in-network doctors near you. That's ZocDoc.com/Ryan Hall, y'all. Big thanks to ZocDoc for sponsoring today's video. Once again, there's a link in the top of the description. Now let's get back into the weather portion of this video. This is what that could look like on radar. Now, the clock is ticking on this one. The heaviest rain and the highest flood risk is going to ramp up this morning and continue through the afternoon today, and it's going to fizzle off as we go into the early morning hours tomorrow. But once again, that red pocket of elevated precipitable water values we were just looking at is 2 to 4 standard deviations above normal out here. So any thunderstorm that does pop up today as a result of this storm system, and even the heavy rain showers that we're seeing this morning, is going to lead to heavy rain of the likes we don't normally see out here in California, and that's going to lead to flash flooding, especially if we get 2 to 4 inches of rain in a short period of time in any singular location. And it actually doesn't stop there. We've got a slight risk of excessive rainfall in the day 2 outlook from Friday into Saturday up here towards more central portions of California, and this is due to the same system, the same exact system carrying that moisture farther north into California. And over the next 2 to 3 days, there's several areas that could see more than 2 inches, maybe all the way up to 4 inches of rain in the Central Valley, all the way down into South Central and Southern California. So if you live in a flood-prone area, make sure you are ready for that. But if you look at this map, you can see that it's not just California that's in for a deluge. We've also got the nation's heartland in the path of several rounds of heavy rain, and up there into the upper Midwest, especially right there around Minneapolis. And this all starts today with some severe thunderstorms, a very marginal and isolated risk, but we're going to see some big-time thunder boomers from Oklahoma City all the way up to Des Moines, especially around Kansas City today, and these are going to be heavy rainmakers. Here's what that radar could look like as we go through the day today. You can see that probably around 3 to 6 p.m. we're going to have some pretty strong storms go through Kansas City, and then we're going to have those go through Des Moines maybe around 9 p.m. or so. And all of this energy is just kind of swirling around here, and it's going to stall out over the upper Midwest, and it's going to bring a couple of days of these isolated heavy downpours to the Minneapolis region over into central portions of Wisconsin, and this is going to cause some problems with flash flooding, so make sure you're ready for that. As far as the severe weather goes, really today is the only day that I'm concerned. I don't see much in the way of severe weather tomorrow or the next day as a result of this system. It's mostly heavy rain, but today we could have some hail and some damaging winds, especially around the Kansas City area. Now, looking at the longer range pattern, we are going to be in the heat once again. The vast majority of us are going to be in somewhat of a heat wave with above average temperatures, especially up there in the north central United States. But pretty much from the Rocky Mountains points east, everybody's going to be having fun in the sun through the next 14 days. But notice over here along the west coast, especially in the Pacific Northwest, we are looking at a temperature outlook that is below normal, and we're starting to become more and more confident in this as we're going to have some pretty significant troughing over here, especially places like Salem and Seattle. Get ready for some very cold or cooler than average weather, and this is going to come along with our first snowfall of the season. That's right, even though we're talking about a heat wave for most of us, we are also looking at the potential for a significant snowfall in the Pacific Northwest, likely towards the end of September. So between September 23rd and 29th, that's where we will likely have some off and on heavy snow showers to talk about in the higher elevations of the Northwest. So once we start talking about snow on this channel, we probably won't stop talking about it. So welcome back, snow lovers. For a while, it'll only be the Pacific Northwest and the Rockies that we're talking about, but eventually the rest of us will be dealing with this too. But for now, we're going to be talking about above average temperatures for the foreseeable future. All right, that's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and a huge shout out to today's sponsor. Make sure you click that link in the top of the description and you go check them out. Also, make sure you go subscribe to the YALLBOT channel, 24/7, always available. It will be relaying these severe thunderstorm warnings today in the Kansas City area, so make sure you tune in for that, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.